This wonderful fanfic is called The Hero and the Florist by Fernald Stormblade. I definitely butchered your name, I'm sorry. And it's basically what if Naruto and Ino got together after the pain attack. Let's get into the video. Naruto's POV. Naruto was walking through the village hidden in the leaves, still overwhelmed at the praise and friendliness of everyone he passed after defeating Pain, his sibling student of the late Jiraiya. Even though he was filled with immense hatred at Pain for killing his master and devastating his home, Pain used his Rinnegan to bring back everyone who died. This was due to Pain's belief that Naruto can change things in the ninja world for the better. Not only that, but his mind was also filled with thoughts on what lead him to almost give up complete control to the nine-tailed fox. Hinata saving his life and her confession, only for her to get thrashed, stabbed through the gut, and seeing her seemingly lifeless eyes as blood poured out. He knew he owed her big time, and despite his deepest wishes, he knew Sakura would always love their former teammate, even if he was now a traitor who abandoned his home for the power necessary to fulfill his ambition of killing his older brother Itachi. Man, what should I do? That's the first time anyone's confessed to me like that, even to get so far as to risk her life to do so, he thought as he mindlessly wandered the village. Maybe I should buy her a bowl at Ichiraku, and by then, I'll have an answer on what to do. Lord knows Sakura won't give me a chance. She's still in love with Sasuke, even if he left on his own, knocking her out when he left. Naruto inwardly groaned at that. She doesn't even realize how much it hurt me when she asked me to bring him back to her. Make it a once-in-a-lifetime request. Sometimes I hate that I never go back on my word. Even if she didn't make that request, I'd still bring that idiot back. He's like a brother to me. I feel like I'm forgetting one other thing that I need to do after getting back to the village. Alright, I need to do something about my sick little green friend. Maybe I should see if she can help my plant. Huh. Bet she'll be surprised that I garden, even if she is the reason I took up the hobby. He then made his way to his place to pick up his plant. Come on, time to get you fixed up. I know if anyone can help, it's Ino. He smiled and started to make his way to the Yamanaka flower shop. Ino's POV. I could almost fall for him. Did I really say that out loud? Questioned Ino Yamanaka. She thought back to the previous day's events that led her to her current frustrations. She was clutching Shizune's dead body in tears from not being able to save her mentor. Choji informing her of Kakashi's sacrifice to save his life. Her dad reassuring her that he and Shikaku were gonna stop him once and for all via their telepathic link, only to unintentionally overhear his conversation with Naruto regarding his plan to deal with Pain by taking to him. This surprised her, especially since he stood up to her father, and even more so when Uncle Shikaku actually backed Naruto up by asking Dad to trust Naruto. She then remembered hoping he had a plan to come back unscathed. Then minutes later, the ground shook, and from the sight that Naruto defeated the six paths of Pains alone came a gigantic being of chakra. It opened its mouth and seemingly fired out multiple beams of light. She then thought that Naruto failed, that this was an attack to finish them all off, only for one of the lights to hit Shizune. After being shocked by this was completely normal. What shocked her more was when she looked around. She saw the other mysterious orbs of light hit the other dead bodies of her companions. Then she felt her mentor's cold body suddenly warm up and come back to life. She knew this could not be possible, seeing as how she tried everything to revive her black-haired teacher, to the point she exhausted all her chakra reserves. Somehow, deep down, she had a feeling that Naruto managed a miracle that brought back their deceased companions to the land of the living, which was proven true when Tsunade summoned Slug Katsuyu relayed the information back to all of them about how he managed to change Pain, which in return caused him to decide to sacrifice his life to bring back the fallen of today. Almost immediately after the message was finished being relayed, she heard a loud cheer. The villagers were actually praising Naruto and starting to chant his name. She could not imagine that this was really happening. She could not believe that the village prankster and number one bane to the villagers' existence would one day be praised as the hero of the hidden leaf. She saw all of the villagers welcome him back with such warmth and cheered that for a moment, she forgot that they all used to see him as a nuisance. Also recalled feeling grateful that Naruto managed to do all of this. For the first time, she felt a tinge of jealousy towards Sakura, who Naruto had feelings for, and towards Hinata, who just confessed to him in front of everyone. She didn't realize that she made the wrong call, only going after cool guys like Sasuke, who ended up betraying them, and Sai, who was hopelessly clueless at life. She actually thought that she should have gone after Naruto instead. I could almost fall for him, said Ino with a heartwarming smile on her face. She was staring right at Naruto and did not notice that she accidentally said it out loud. Her teammates, who were standing right next to her, heard her say it and were shocked. They immediately gave a surprised reaction and tried to pester her to explain herself, but she didn't answer. She didn't mind at all, nor did she show any hint of embarrassment. Today was Naruto's moment, and even she had to admit that he was very cool at the moment. I messed up pretty badly and let a good catch get away. I can't believe it. I actually want to date Naruto now, said Ino to herself as she was bored tending to her family's flower shop. She was alone at the counter when, speaking of the devil, Naruto unexpectedly stepped inside their shop. Yo Ino, what's up? Casually strolled the blonde ninja with a big goofy smile on his face. Author's POV. He was happy to see Ino working today and noticed that she was bored at the counter tending to a single flower. Though she seemed bored, he noticed that she had a different look in her eyes than usual when she was taking care of that particular flower. He thought that it must be special. Oh hey, what's the big hero of the hidden leaf doing here? Ino looked up as she teased them. You're embarrassing me, Ino. Just call me Naruto as always. I actually needed some gardening help. You garden? Ino was flabbergasted. She didn't know that Naruto had a cute sensitive interest like that. She giggled a bit inside. Oh yeah, I do. Watering plants is actually a hobby of mine. See for yourself. Here's my pet project, said Naruto as he revealed a potted plant from behind his back. Looks like it's lacking nutrition. What happened to it? Said Ino, as she carefully examined the plant. I forgot to take it with me when I left for Sage Mode training, so I missed a couple of days to water it, he said, feeling rather bad about it. I can definitely take care of it. Leave it with me for a few weeks and I'll make sure it gets back to good health. No charge. Thanks, Ino. I know I could rely on you. You've always been a good friend through the years, said Naruto, flashing that goofy grin again. Always? What are you saying? We've only really started talking to each other after we graduated from the academy. I don't remember knowing you for that long at all. Ino was taken back as to how close Naruto made it seem they were. Really? Well, I got a good memory and I remembered this one time before we started at the academy, said Naruto as he crossed his arms and started recounting what he remembered. What happened? At this point, she was desperately trying to remember what could have happened between them. It happened during enrollment. I was outside by the swings while the third was talking to the teachers to enroll me when you showed up. You were bored while your parents spoke to the teachers as well, and you decided to sit next to me. While Naruto was saying this, it hit her as she suddenly remembered a chance encounter from long ago. Flashback start. Hey, nice hair. It's a little messy and spiky, but I like the color, said a smiling girl his age with the same hair color as him. She was pretty and had a nice hair slide on. Are you talking to me? Asked a questioning looking boy as he wasn't used to people talking to him. Of course, silly. Do you see anyone else around? Are you sure you should be talking to me? Why not? You look like you're just as bored as me, and two bored blondes gotta stick together, right? You finally managed to smile. That's great. You should smile more often. You have a really nice smile. Thank you. Hey, let's have a game. Let's try to see who can swing the highest. You're on. They swung for a bit, but after a while, they slowly came to a stop. The boy wanted to know more about this mysterious person, so he asked her a question. So, what does your family do for a living? My family owns a flower shop, so I know a lot about plants and stuff. Whoa, really? Yeah, hey, you know what? I heard that if you ever feel lonely, you should talk to plants while you water them. They'll respond to your feelings by growing up to be nice and healthy. Oh, really? Thanks. Yeah, so you should stop by our shop if you ever need any help with plants. That's a promise, said the girl while extending her pinky. Sure. The boy extended his pinky as well, and they intertwined the two them together, signifying their promise. Hey, I have to go. It was nice to meet you. Let's hang out again next time, said the girl as she noticed that her parents motioned to her that they were done with their business and they had to go. Before she left, she gave him a light peck on the cheek. Naruto was so surprised that he ended up forgetting to ask the girl what her name was. Flashback end. After Naruto finished his story, he noticed that Ino's cheeks turned a bright shade of red. You feeling okay there, Ino? Of course. Why wouldn't I be? Said an embarrassed Ino as she remembered that she technically gave her first kiss to Naruto. At the time, she only wanted to cheer him up, but now that she had those feelings for him, she was really embarrassed. The awkward silence broke when Naruto suddenly interjected. It's too bad we never got to hang out after that. You were my first ever friend, and I never got your name till way later. It made it really hard to approach you. Ino remembered that there was a time that she wanted to hang out again with her new friend. However, she started hearing bad rumors about Naruto and painfully decided not to because she didn't want her friends to not like her. Now that she remembered, she felt really guilty that she was so childish and immature to ignore a good friend just to conform to the norms. That's too bad. Tell you what, to celebrate the remembrance of our first encounter, let's get ramen. And it'll be my treat, Naruto. Oh really? You're the best, I love you, said a grinning Naruto, as free ramen was not something he would ever pass up. He was so excited that he didn't even notice that he said such an embarrassing line that made Ino blush again. Oh wait, we should invite Choji and Shikamaru as well, said Naruto, as he didn't want Ino's teammates to be left out. Don't worry about them. If Choji finds out about this, he'll force us to get yakiniku instead. If you invite Shikamaru, Choji is about to find out. You got a point there. Oh well, if they ever find out about it, I'll make it up to them somehow. Yup. He then stopped and thought for a moment. Hey, what should I do to make up for this? What do you mean? You don't need to do anything silly. I got it. I'll buy some flowers. Oh really? Said an embarrassed Ino, since she was surprised that Naruto would be considerate and started thinking about how it would be meant for her. Yup. I need to thank Hinata for saving my life, not to mention give her a reply for her confession. So I'll support one friend's shop while giving another friend a present. Yes, that's such a great idea, said a beaming Naruto with a big thumbs up to show Ino that he really thought it was the perfect idea. Oh, right, replied Ino with her high hopes dashed, and she was instantly brought back down to reality. She realized that just because she discovered this secret past between the two of them, it didn't change the fact that she was too late. Hinata loved Naruto the most and the longest. She deserved a chance to be happy and have her feelings reciprocated. Well, do you know what she's like? Ino tried her best to hide her tiny bit of disappointment and be happy for Hinata. I don't know what kind of flowers she likes, but I do know that I want a flower that says something about her bravery. Is there a flower like that? Yup, there is. I'm an expert and studied the language of flowers. That's my hobby, and you definitely asked the right person. Check this out. It's a nice bouquet of ponies. Well, it's not peonies. Wait, what is that? Hold up, I'll Google it. It's apparently called peonies, and it's some wild looking flower that's pink and grows in Texas and a few other places, notably Texas. Thanks, Ino. So, what are you gonna say to her? Well, her confession caught me by surprise since I never saw her in a romantic way, but I think I'll give it a try. It's about time that I move on from Sakura, who, as we all know, will never stop loving Sasuke. Also, it's the first time someone ever told me that they loved me from the bottom of their heart. I was kinda touched, said a slightly embarrassed Naruto. He tried to laugh it off, but Ino could tell that he was really excited about this. But being a girl that never truly gives up on what she wants, she saw her chance hearing that he never saw her in a romantic way. She quickly thought of a way to discreetly plant a seed of caution in Naruto's mind without making it obvious, so she decided to tease him before executing her plan. "Oh, that's nice. Look at you, Naruto, all grown up and mature now. I'm proud of you." Ino then paused before she started again, somewhat hesitantly, knowing how she's going to sound. "However, Naruto, you should find out how and why she loves you." Naruto gave her a questioning gaze. "What do you mean, Ino?" Wondering why she'd even bring this up. Sensing this, Ino quickly made it clear, fearing she'd be caught. What I mean is, yeah, she saved you in order to confess to you, but think for a second. She blushes every time you get close to her or talk to her, and faints when you say something that could be taken out of context, whether you mean it or not. I don't know, but what I'm trying to say, and I know this is mean to her, I don't know, but what I'm trying to say is gonna sound bad on my part." She trails off hesitantly, hoping he understand. But what she's feeling could be idolism or heroship. Granted, I don't know what she likes, why she likes you, but don't you think it's weird she has the same nindo you do, to never give up and never back down no matter what? I'm just saying this to you so you don't get hurt in the long scheme of things. She finished with a slight blush, threatening to give away that she herself likes and wanted to be with him. He was too busy thinking about what Ino had said to notice, thinking to himself, "She's right. I never got it much thought. Hinata's always been a timid girl, but that shouldn't be reason to faint or blush so badly whenever I'm near her. Heck, I thought she was sick or something." Ino noticed his pause and hoped he wasn't mad at her, but then he spoke up, calming those fears. "You're right. I think I'll do that. Thanks, Ino," giving her his famous megawatt smile again. Her blush only seemed to increase, and she could feel it too, so she quickly turned, averted her gaze to hide a said blush, and noticed the flower she'd been taking care of before he walked in. Calming her blush, or trying to at the very least, she picked it up. "Have this nice yellow camellia to add to your personal collection. You can keep it if you want, but for now, it can replace the one you left with me." Ino gave Naruto a pot with a single yellow camellia flower growing. Naruto noticed that this flower was the one he noticed at the counter when he walked in. It seemed really special and distinct from the others. He could also tell that a lot of care was put into it by how healthy and radiant it looked. "Oh, really? It's nice. So, what's this flower mean in their language?" She paused at this, knowing it meant longing, but couldn't tell him that. Not without raising his suspicion. "It means gratitude. I want to give it to you as a thank you for everything." "Oh, really? Thanks a lot, Ino. I'll make sure to take care of this." He beamed at this, happy to take this amazing gift from his fellow blonde. "Since you're about to meet up with Hinata, let's take a rain check on the ramen outing. Have fun on your date, Naruto." "Thanks again for the help," said Naruto as he waved goodbye and walked towards the door. Before he stepped out, however, he turned around and said one last thing to Ino. You know, I should be the one thanking you. You don't know how much I owe you. You're my first friend. You gave me my love of plants, and you gave me a reason to smile more often. Those were all thanks to you. I never said this to anyone, but you were my first love, and I thank you for being my first friend from the bottom of my heart," said Naruto before walking out the door. For the first time, Ino saw Naruto blush a bright red. Ino's POV. For a moment, she stared at the door where Naruto had left, not believing what she just heard come from him. "I have such terrible luck. I could have been with the guy I like now a long time ago," self-deprecatingly said melancholy Ino to herself as she mockingly laughed at her current state. This situation reminded her of those cheesy romance novels that she read. As she was talking to herself, her dad came back and entered through the shop entrance, where he proceeded to question Ino about Naruto's visit, and her giving the flower she had been saving to give to someone special. He then went on to give her some teasing encouragement which naturally caused his daughter to lash out defensively and get embarrassed when he stated he wouldn't mind and would fully support her if she and Naruto did end up going out in the future. Still being embarrassed, she again lashed out defensively, telling him to mind his own business. It was with that he finally returned upstairs to their house. I hope I'm right about Hinata, but if I am, I highly doubt he'll be in any mood to move on from Sakura for a while. All I can do is to be there for him if it's hero worship. She sighed once more. Man, I'm pathetic, secretly stepping between Hinata and her lifelong crush. Well, I better not think too much about it. Let's go out with the girls for some drinks and have some laughs. They'll get a kick out of this story. I wonder what Sakura would think. At least I one-upped her somehow since I was technically Naruto's first love. Naruto's POV. At the same time, Naruto was fighting to get his vibrant blush down after his confession to Ino, as he walked through the streets at a slightly quicker pace. I can't believe I told her that. And right when I'm about to confront Hinata about her feelings for me, and make sure what she feels is really love, Ino made a good point. I did stand up to her cousin, Neji, during the Chunin exams, but she was fainting and blushing around me before that. Am I forgetting something that happened in the past? Maybe I should go home, drop off Ino's gift, and cool off before going to see Hinata. I couldn't be thinking about Ino while I'm out with Hinata, and Ino called it a date. I guess it would be if her feelings are real. He then paused briefly and at that thought. But what if they aren't? What if Ino's right? Will I be able to move on from that? Will I go back to chasing after Sakura? Ino did promise me a ramen outing, which could be considered a date. Again, he paused at the realization as a frown appears across his brow. Oh my god, Ino asked me out on a date, and I talked about giving Hinata flowers after she asked me out. I really am an idiot. She must be so mad at me right now. Saddened by this, he decided that dropping off Ino's gift was the best course of action in order to calm down and focus on his plan to confront Hinata. Chapter 2. Naruto POV. Naruto spent the better part of 2 hours figuring out his plan to confront Hinata, and if B, how to lure her down without hurting her too much. He knew that if what Ino said was true, that she'd be devastated when he turned her down. Just the thought of hurting her makes me hope she's genuine about her feelings. Heck, I'm more scared of what Kiba, Neji, or even her father will do to me if I hurt her. He shudders at the thought. She's also very close with Kurenai-sensei, and I fear what kind of genjutsu she'd put me in if or when she finds out that I hurt Hinata. Man, I'm up Bat Creek without a paddle if this doesn't go well. He looks out his window and let out a deep sigh. Well, can't let what ifs get in the way of doing this. Hinata deserves an answer no matter what, and the best way to do that is to be honest. He says to himself as he gets up and grabs Hinata's flower, which were put in a vase of water to keep them healthy while he worked things out in his head. Well, time to go find Hinata and see where this goes. An hour later, after wandering around what remains of the village, he notices that there were a lot of buildings already up. Captain Yamato's must be working hard with his wood style to help with the rebuild. Poor guy must be exhausted if the amount of buildings is any to go by. Finally, after an hour and a half of searching and asking for directions, he arrived at the Hyuga Assembly Hall, where one of the branch members stopped him. Halt! What business do you have here? Even if you are considered the hero of the leaf now, you cannot just come around with no good reason. Jeez, I understand being vigilant, but would it hurt them to be polite? He mentally shrugged before deciding to take the polite and formal request approach. I wish to speak with Lady Hinata about a private matter between her and myself. Do you know where I could find her? The guard was shocked that the kid, known for being a prankster as well as infuriating beings in authority, addressed the clan heiress in a proper and formal fashion, and didn't know what this private matter was between the two of them. But it's no secret to anyone that Hinata had a lifelong crush on the Jinchuriki in front of him. Step inside and I'll go fetch her. Don't not wander around or enter any other buildings or tents. Naruto just nodded and did so. deciding to sit down on one of the many chairs in the room while waiting for her to show up, feeling slightly nervous as to which way this was going to go. After about 5 long minutes, which felt like an eternity to the blonde hero, the door slid open, revealing Hinata, still in her ninja gear, but cleaned up after the battle with pain. Blushing brightly seeing the object of her affection, little did Naruto know that she'd been blushing since being told that he was there to see her. Hello, Naruto. What is it that you wish to see me about? Naruto mentally sighed at her, shuddering. There's another thing. She really needs to have more confidence in herself, like she did when she stood up to Pain for me. Hey, Hinata. I came by to thank you for your help earlier today. That was very brave of you. Here, I got you these flowers as a gift, he said as he removed the flowers and a vase from beside the chair he was sitting at. Hinata went wide-eyed at the thought of Naruto giving her flowers for anything, and was ready to faint on the spot before willing herself to stay conscious and accept them with a meek thank you. Naruto rubbed the back of his head, bracing himself for what was to come. He knows that what he's gonna say to her will hurt or disappoint her while giving her some false hope. Hey, Hinata, why don't you sit down? I need to talk to you about you as well. At this point, Hinata looked confused and concerned about acquiesced to his request, nodding, signifying for him to go on. I came by to thank you, but also to talk to you about your confession during the fight with Pain earlier. He paused, trying to figure out how to word it properly without hurting her too much. This pause seemed to have Hinata even more concerned. She was extremely nervous and anxious to hear his response. While I'm touched beyond any words and grateful for caring for me so much, I'm afraid that I'm just not ready to date anyone right now. I'm very sorry, he finished in a sitting bow to emphasize his apology. Poor Hinata didn't know what to say or do. Here was her lifelong crush. Here was her lifelong crush, having given her flowers as a thank you gift for saving him, but was politely turning her down, saying he's not ready to date anyone at this time, while other girls would see this as I might have a chance once he's ready. This was disheartening and discouraging. It took her so long to confess him, and it took him almost being killed for her to do so while putting her own life on the line. However, she did appreciate Naruto's honesty and swiftness, so she wouldn't be worried about it in the future. He came to her, gave his response, and didn't avoid her, whether it would have been purposely or not, unlike what other guys may have done, purposely or not. Naruto by this point was worried he had hurt her to the point of shock, rendering her unable to talk. He dared not to raise his head till he got a response in kind, continuing to show his respect to the Hyuga heiress. Fortunately, he didn't have to wait long. Naruto, please raise your head. She stared in a sad, low tone. She said, in a sad, low tone, as the blonde did so. Thank you for your honesty. While I'm admittedly discouraged, I cannot imagine the courage it took to tell me this. I don't like doing the stuttering. I hope she gets out the story soon, so I don't have to do it anymore. I hope we will remain friends in the future. She finished with a seated bow of her own, not trying to hide the welling tears in her eyes. She couldn't cry in front of him. Not now. Don't worry, we'll always be friends. Thank you for being understanding. I'm sorry if I've hurt you, he said, bowing once more. All Hinata could do was nod her head, still hiding her face from him. At this time, Naruto took this as his cue to leave and headed towards the door, stopping to let her know he was leaving. I'll see you around, Hinata. And once again, sorry. And with that, he was gone, not knowing that as he left, she broke down and started crying. Man, that was harder than expected. But I couldn't question her about why she loved me. That would have hurt her more than just turning her down. I think I'd head to Ichiraku and see if I can talk to Ayame about this. Not that I can change it now, he thought to himself, feeling bad about hurting and probably destroying what little confidence Hinata had been turning Hinata had by turning her down. He could tell she was on the verge of tears, but he doubted that there was anything he could have done to ease her pain. 20 minutes later, Naruto arrived at his home away from home. The smell of ramen filled his nostrils, and while that would have normally gotten him excited, he was still upset about hurting Hinata, and still confused as what to do now. If he was honest with himself, he still really liked Sakura, but there was Ino. She had practically asked him out on a date, or that's what he took it as. As he walked in, Toechi and Ayami smiled. "Naruto, my boy, how are you today? You want the usual?" The old Ichiraku greeted his surrogated son before noticing his sullen mood. Ayami noticed it immediately, noticing it was serious because he didn't have his usual grin that he keeps whenever Sakura had turned him down again, and proceeded to find out what had caused her brother figure to look so down. "Are you okay? What happened?" Naruto gave her a sad smile. "Well, I'm not sure if you know this or not, but Hinata risked her life during the pain battle to save my life, and confessed that she loved me, which you would think was a good thing, but in truth, I'm very confused." He started as Toichi prepared his usual order as he proceeded to retell the events that have happened in the last 24 hours, leaving both Toichi and Ayami in awe and shock. "Whoa, Ino practically asked you out, gave you a special flower, and gave some decent advice. But you talked to Hinata and turned her down, saying you weren't ready to date anyone, yet not wanting to hurt her too much. My, you've been busy today." Ayami gave a sly teasing grin. "Yeah, and to top it off, while I know Sakura won't stop loving Sasuke, I can't let her go or give up just yet. But then there's Ino, who, as I said, was my first real crush. I just don't know what to do." He groaned and rested his elbow on the counter and had his head on his palms, showing his frustration. "Well, if I can offer you advice, get to know Ino, hang out with her when you have the free time. Who knows, maybe she'll be the one to get Sakura off your mind. Who knows, something special might come out of it." Naruto just nodded and proceeded to eat his food, thinking in his segregated big sister's advice. He had already planned to talk to Ino again tomorrow to see if she wanted to just hang out, figuring she'll probably hear about what happened between him and Hinata before morning. So he finished his food, but as he went to pay his bill, when they told him it was on the house for defeating pain, he shrugged at this and accepted their offer and proceeded to head home, take care of Ino's gift, and go to sleep since it had been a long and exhausting day, emotionally and physically. Ino's point of view. While Naruto had arrived at Ichiraku, Ino arrived at the girls' usual hangout spot where she spotted the usual crowd. Sakura, Tenten, and Anko. Yes, the crazy snake mistress decided to hang out with younger girls of the village. Surprisingly, Kurenai-sensei and Hinata were there at the table, the former seeming consoling the latter. "Huh? Did Naruto already talk with her? If so, I'm gonna say it didn't go well for her." It was then that Sakura noticed Ino. "Hey, Ino pig!" A small tick mark appeared on Ino's forehead, and shot back her usual nickname for her friend and rival. "Hello, billboard brow. How are you tonight?" "Exhausted if I'm to be honest, as well as worried about Lady Tsunade. She hasn't woken up since the end of Pain's attack. She used too much chakra using Katsuyu to heal the wounds." Sakura said in a concerned tone. "Is it just chakra exhaustion? Any idea when she'll wake up? Does Naruto know?" Ino's mind now completely off Hinata's depressed state for the moment as she fired off a list of questions, knowing how close both Sakura and Naruto were to the 5th Hokage. "No, Shizune's working round the clock, doing everything she can to help. But we have no idea when or if she'll ever wake up. Every time she uses ninja art, methodic regeneration, it comes with a price of shortening one's lifespan. So we can only hold out hope that she'll recover. As for Naruto, no, I doubt he knows yet. If he did, that knucklehead would have rushed over where she's being kept and loudly asked two of them questions you did." The pinklet let a small laugh out at that. "Yeah, knowing him, that's exactly what he'll do." The flowers joined in the laugh, only to blush ever so slightly with a content smile and faraway look in her eyes as she thought of her fellow blonde. This was picked up by Anko, who decided to take this chance to speak up with a teasing grin and tone. "Oh, What's this? Did someone have a crush on the hero of the leaf? That snapped Ino out of her thoughts, only to deepen her blush at being caught daydreaming about him, even momentarily. What? No, come on. We all know that Naruto's always loved Billboard Brow here. Even if he confessed I was his first crush earlier today, she shouted out, only to think the last part to herself. The weapons mistress spoke at this time. That's for sure. Maybe not. Hinata came here with Kurenai Sensei mumbling about Naruto turning her confession earlier. Something about not being ready to date? I don't know. I couldn't hear her very well. But she definitely looks like her word came crashing down around her, pointing to the Hyuga heiress while looking concerned for her teammate's cousin. What? Hinata risked her life to finally confess to him, and he has the nerve to turn her down? This pissed off Tsunade's apprentice to no end. The shy girl that has always had a crush on him, putting her life in danger to not only save him but confess after how many years, and he turns her down because he's not ready to date anyone? Then why the heck was he asking her out every chance he got? Ino looked over at Hinata, a mix of concern and sympathy for her that he turned her down and did it without following her advice of questioning her reasons. However, she thought it'd be best to change the subject and tell her friends what happened to her family's shop today. Speaking of our hero, you'll never guess who showed up at our shop today with a plant no less. Wait, Naruto Gardens? Questioned every girl/woman of the group, including the depressed Hyuga and her sensei segregated big sister. Yeah, it was a shock to me too, but apparently I was the one who gave the suggestion of taking care of plants when we were kids. This took them even more by surprise. However, the now interested lavender-haired Kunoichi decided to speak up. What do you mean, Ino? Looking at the female blonde with some suspicion, asking the question that everyone was thinking. Ino looked at him, feeling a bit embarrassed by the story she was gonna tell, and intimidated by the way Hinata was looking at her, but told him the story of how she met Naruto, and he said that she was her first friend, purposely leaving out Naruto's confession in the company of the heartbroken Hyuga. Afterwards, Sakura looked confused. Wait, if you were his first friend, then why didn't you hang out with him after that? Why did you treat him almost as bad as I have? Oh, shut up, Sakura. At least I didn't hit him all the time. I'm surprised he continues to chase after you after all the abuse you put him through. She yelled furiously at her best friend before calming down and putting her head down in a self-disappointment. And I wanted to, but after that I started hearing what we all heard about him. Stay away from the boy, he's bad news. He's a troublemaker, yada yada yada. So painfully, I decided to listen to the hearsay like the good little girl I was. Listened to my parents and wanted to remain popular. But since he told me that today, I regret that childish and selfish decision. The pink banshee was taken back by both her reasoning and her defending Naruto by snapping at her, while all but Hinata looked at her with shock. The Hyuga heiress didn't know what to think. On one hand, she was furious that her lifelong crush could have had a friend all this time, but on the other hand, if the Yamanaka heiress had chosen to continue to be his friend and not go with the flow, Naruto might have been crushing on her instead of Sakura. Only Ino might have returned his affections. She didn't know how close to the truth she was with the analysis. I don't know why I'm messing up basic words. Recovering from her shock, Anko stepped up, seething at the blonde in front of her, having some sympathy for the young Jinchuriki, having lived a life of an outcast due to her own past. So, you didn't listen to your own desires and threaten him like everyone else, just to remain popular? I said I regret the decision, alright? Ino replied in tears, clearly showing her remorse. Meanwhile, Kurenai was ready to hold back her friend, knowing how quickly she can get violent, especially when it came to the topic of outcasts and mistreatment of others. However, this wasn't needed. The interrogator, as well as everyone else, could hear and see the young Yamanaka's sincerity and remorse. Surprisingly, it was Hinata that gave her a comforting hug, which surprised everyone, mostly Ino. Is Hinata comforting me, even knowing I could have been a rival for Naruto's affection? Ino, as long as you truly mean what you say, you should try to patch things up with him. get to know the real Naruto, the Higa said, surprisingly without her stutter. Before it returned, she continued, and if the things could go well, you should follow wherever that leads. I don't think I can pursue him anymore since he rejected me. She finished that last part just above a whisper, but could still be heard by everyone around her. Everyone looked on at their poor, broken-hearted friend, seeing that his polite rejection shot her confidence to hell. Kurenai was silently planning to pay the boy a visit and have a word with him. Maybe teach him a lesson for hurting her student and segregated little sister. However, it was Sakura that stepped up this time. Come on, Hinata. He didn't outright reject you, right? He just said that he wasn't ready yet. Don't give up hope. Everyone but Ino and Anko nodded in agreement. Anko, because she had a suspicion that Naruto's affection may have shifted from Sakura to a certain blonde if said blonde's story and behavior was any indicator. While Ino was floored, not having heard Sakura's words of encouragement. Wait a minute, did she just give me permission to pursue the man she's been crushing on since the academy? Whoa. Naruto, if you learn about how badly your polite rejection has hurt her, you're gonna feel worse than a scum, she thought, knowing how he'd react to this news. Still, I was planning on doing as she suggested anyhow if he had turned her down. Sakura, just you wait till I tell you that I was Naruto's first crush. After socializing and having a few cups of tea, alcohol in Anko's case, they all decided to call it a night and head back to home. Ino, wait up! I'll walk with you. My place is in the same direction as you. Sakura ran up to her. Sure, Sakura. I still wanted to tell you something anyhow now that we're alone. Okay? Sure, what is it? The pink banshee looked at her friend curiously. Oh, just that I managed to beat you at something before our rivalry over Sasuke started. She trailed off with a sly grin on her face, knowing how she'd react. What? What do you mean you beat me at something? The young florist couldn't wait to see her expression. Just that not only did I give my first kiss before you, but it was to Naruto, who said I was his first real crush. Sakura froze in place, completely flabbergasted. Naruto told her that she was his first crush. Would that have meant that only would she have retained her friendship with Ino, but she might have lost out on her constant source of encouragement from the blonde teammate? That was very weirdly worded. The young medic started to picture Ino in her place, only seeing her accepting Naruto's request to go out for her dates. She didn't know how to respond to that, only start walking again, only this time on autopilot. Ino sees this mentally and cheers for the reaction and for being able to silence the girl known as the Banshee for how loud her shouts were, even if they were toned down a fair bit from when they were younger. However, she decided to be the good friend. Sakura, you alright? Sakura didn't reply, still being lost in thought at the revelation her friend had brought forward, while Ino continued to internally cheer while hoping to see Naruto tomorrow, not knowing the chaos that was ensure in the future. Chapter 3. Naruto POV. The next morning, after Naruto got back from Ichiraku and the girls had their girls' night out, we find Naruto in his sleepwear, still half asleep, watering Ino's gift while waiting for his morning cup of ramen to cook with a sleepy smile on his face. I can't wait to talk to Ino. I need to tell her about Hinata, if she doesn't know already. Then suddenly there was a knock at the door, surprising the blonde. I never get company unless it's Sakura or Kakashi Sensei for a mission, but it's too early even for them to come knocking. When he opened his door, he was greeted by a less than pleased Kurenai, Hinata Sensei. Oh crap, he thought before greeting her nervously. Good morning, Kurenai Sensei. How are you this morning? Please don't use genjutsu on me. Thinking the last part to himself, having a healthy dose of fear for the genjutsu mistress. The ruby-eyed Jonin semi-glares at Naruto and speaks in a stern tone that outlined her not being in the mood to beat around the bush. Morning, Naruto. Might I come in? I believe that we need to have a chat. The Jinchuriki caught on to the tone, sighed, nodded, and opened the door. Yes, ma'am. Please follow me to change first. Make yourself at home. Please allow me. Make it quick. Naruto couldn't move faster, and after a mere minute of changing into casual clothing and made his way to his living room as he passed by his now soggy ramen. Aw, dang it. It's gonna be one of those days. Maybe I should hold off on going to see Ino today. He internally groaned as he sat down across from the raven-hurt Jonin and prepared for a tongue lashing. Now, I am not gonna beat around the bush, Naruto. I'm sure you know why I'm here, correct? She asked sternly. I assume that it's because I turned down Hinata's confession since I'm not ready to date anyone at this time. I've even given up on chasing Sakura after realizing she always loved Sasuke, Naruto said solemnly. And given that you're here, I must have hurt Hinata, despite my best effort to let her down gently, he said solemnly. Yes, she asked me to meet her at the spot Ino and the girls regularly meet for the girls' night out. She was visibly depressed and looked like she had been crying and continued to cry at the bar. Naruto frowned at her. At that, he hurt Hinata, caused her to cry and call upon her closest ally. I'm sorry I hurt Hinata. I never wanted to do that to her. Despite me turning her down, I still owe her my life, he stated barely above a whisper, showing his regret and grief for hurting her. Kunai saw this and internally smiled. At least he regrets hurting her. I would have to place him under a nasty genjutsu if he didn't. Then again, he wouldn't beat Naruto if he didn't regret hurting her, at least according to what Kakashi and Hinata have told him about him. However, there is more to this than he's letting on if Ino's outburst from last night is anything to judge by. Regardless, I think you should keep away from her for a while. She's in a very delicate state right now. However, I'd like to hear your side of the story. Keeping her stern exterior, the blonde nodded and took a deep breath. I was gonna give Hinata a chance. Figured I owned her that much. But a friend mentioned something that I thought hard about and agreed was a chance with. That Hinata's affection for me were misplaced under the guise of idolism. But I couldn't question her about her feelings. I know that would have hurt her a lot more than just saying that I'm not ready to date. And I'm not. The realization that Sakura will never return my feelings has hit me harder than I expected. He said, leaving out the fact that he had been thinking about Ino since their chat at the flower shop. Kurenai narrowed her eyes at the mention of a friend. Could it be Ino? She was defending him all night and was visibly regretting her decision to go with the flow. It has to have been her. She thought and decided to question Naruto. Naruto, I want you to be honest with me right now. This friend, was it Ino? She and the rest of the group showed up last night and told us whatever happened. She started taking notice of Naruto going stiff at the thought Ino told the girls everything that happened, but continued to verify what was said. That she gave you your inspiration for taking care of plants, her being your first friend before she decided to cave to the peer pressure and listening to her elders to stay away from you because of your burden. Naruto nodded at this, while extremely relieved that the blonde florist didn't mention her asking him out for ramen, or his confession that she was his first crush/love, but he yet suspected that was why she avoided him and pretended to not know him. That didn't mean it hurt any less. Kunai again seeing him slouch more and dropped her stern persona. If it's any consolation, she was the first to defend you when Sakura learned and was furious that you turned down a girl's confession who risked her life to save you. She even said she regretted her choice to be pulled into the mainstream after Anko got on her about her discarding you for popularity. So much that she was in tears with visible remorse on her face and in her voice. Ino said that? He said, unable to hide the whimsical smile hearing she regretted her choice so much. Yes, she did. Now please answer my question. The Jonin said firmly, having caught the look on his face. There was something more to Naruto and Ino than what was being led to believe. Alright, sorry, he said, rubbing the back of his head in embarrassment, then regretfully continuing. Sorry, Ino. I hope she doesn't come talking to you when she's done with me. Yeah, Ino was the one to question Hinata's true feelings for me. She just didn't want me to get hurt. I suspect that is because of what you said, that she is feeling horrible about how she treated me. So please, do what you want to me, but leave her out of this. He finished, falling into a full bow, fully displaying that was clearly begging right now. Kurenai was stunned at this. There's definitely something more going on between those two, but for now I'll drop it. Very well, Naruto. However, be warned that if you're lying to me and you decline Hinata because you desire someone else, I will not be this forgiving next time. She narrowed her eyes and glared at him, looking him dead in the eye, leaking some killer intent to further her threat/warning. Next time, I'll make you think that horrendous sexy jutsu of yours is the real you. Naruto went white as a ghost, nodding as if to say he understood faster than the fourth flying Raijin, knowing full well that she could and would do it. Good, then we're done here, the ruby-eyed Jonin said as she got up. Thank you for your time, and I'm sorry I interrupted your breakfast, she said as she left this place and went home. Naruto slumped against the chair he had been sitting in, letting out a revealed breath that she had left. Man, note to self, do not piss off Kurenai. Still, I'm glad Ino didn't tell him about her offer to take me out for ramen, or my confession, or that she was the one to plant the seed of doubt in my head. Not that she ever would, especially not in front of Hinata and her sensei. A couple of minutes later, he made himself another cup of ramen, then decided to pay Ino a visit after he ate and get freshened up. Ino's point of view. While Naruto was being talked to by Kurenai, Ino had been up for a few hours already and very unhappy. Dang it, why did Dad make me wake up in the crack of dawn? Doesn't he realize I need my beauty sleep? Then a sigh came, and she looked at the plant that Naruto left with her and smiled at the thought of the blonde knucklehead while starting to take care of it, silently hoping to see him today. Still can't believe Hinata of all people confronted me after my breakdown last night, not to mention her practically giving me permission to pursue her lifelong crush, she mused. From what the girl said, he let her down easy, which I'm glad he didn't listen to me. But what concerns me is how he let her down, saying he's not ready to date. I hope that's not true. But as quickly as the word came, it was gone. Naruto wouldn't have confessed to me if he wasn't somewhat ready. I'll just have to be patient. It was then that she turned to the door chime and made her way to the front of the store. Normal POV. The person who had arrived was none other than the blonde knucklehead that's been plaguing her mind. When their eyes met, they gave each other big smiles. Naruto giving her his famous mega what smile, and Ino doing her best impression of it. Hey Ino, how are you doing this morning? He asked with a very faint blush on his grinning face. That got me up early this morning for some reason, but I'm good now, she said with her own blush. That sucks, but glad you're good now though, he said, then dropped his smile a little. So, you know that I turned down Hinata, right? Ino nodded. Well, Kurenai-sensei paid me a visit this morning, confronting about hurting Hinata, but she let me off with a warning after I talked to her. Ino was shocked that Kurenai was that worried about Hinata that she'd pay Naruto a visit to confront him, and so early considering that she was very pregnant. That was nice of her to let you off with a warning considering you let Hinata down so easily. I'm proud of you and glad you didn't listen to me. I can't imagine how she would have been if you questioned her. Yeah, I couldn't do that to her. I do still owe her my life after all. At this, Ino nodded. Kurenai-sensei also told me you stood up for me last night against Sakura. Thanks, he said quietly, blushing deeply now while contemplating asking Ino about her regretting her choice in the past. It was the least I could do, Naruto. I'm so tired of the Bilbo Brow treating you so badly, she said just as quickly, having her own blush, only it being lighter. Hey, Naruto, I need to apologize. I've treated you so badly and ignored my own desires and listened to everyone else. I should have been there for you. Reminded you your friend. I'm sorry. She finished with a bow. With a small smile, the Jinchuriki put a hand on her shoulder, causing her to raise up and look into his eyes, looking into his eyes, completely shocked to see no resentment in those gorgeous ocean blue eyes. Don't worry about it. It's more than enough to know and see that you regret your choice. Naruto. Hey, it's okay, really. I never hated you. I wouldn't have said what I said yesterday if I did, he said sincerely, completely shocking Ino. Thank you so much, Naruto, she said as she pulled him into a hug with tears of relief in her eyes. This stunned the young hero slightly, but quickly returned the hug, blushing brightly while trying to ignore the feeling of her assets against him. Calm down, Naruto. It's just a hug. No underlying purpose other than a hug, he thought to himself, trying to calm himself down. You're welcome, he said softly. Unbeknownst to them, Inoichi was just in the next room, having come down hearing Naruto come in and watch the entire scene. Just look at those two. Had we not stopped here from being friends with them, I'd be willing to bet this shop that they would have been a couple a long time ago. I was such a fool. Hey, let's go cash in the rain check. It's almost lunchtime, Naruto asked. I can't, Naruto. I need to wash the shop. She frowned, really wanting to take up on the idea, not noticing they were still embarrassing. Inoichi decided to make his presence known, taking notice of their embrace and decided to tease them. Go ahead, Ino. I can wash the storefront while you go have lunch with your boyfriend. Dad, she exclaimed as they quickly leaped out of their embrace, giving Hinata a run for her money in terms of deep blushes, silently liking the idea of being a couple. Oh god, how long has he been there? So not going to hear the end of this, Ino lamented. He's not my boyfriend, not yet anyhow, she thought the last part to herself. Naruto was embarrassed. Her dad caught us hugging like that. Why isn't he pissed off? And he's actually encouraging her going out for lunch with me? Boyfriend? Does he approve of me being with her? Millions of thoughts going through his mind. Inoichi inwardly chuckled seeing them so embarrassed. Just go, you two. Just be back in a couple hours, okay? Alright, fine. Come on, Naruto, the young heiress said as she grabbed the stunned hero by the wrist and dragged them out of the shop towards Ichiraku's. Young love. I know you better treat her well, boy, the Yamanaka head chuckled. A block away, Naruto found his bearings and started walking next to a fuming girl who had been plaguing his thoughts the last 24 hours but decided to remain quiet, knowing her temper was almost on par with Sakura's, silently fearing getting pummeled. 2 blocks later, Ino calmed down. I'm sorry for dragging you like this. I just had to get out of there. He's so insufferable. Sometimes I wish I could have my own place. Hey, it's okay. I could tell he meant well, then saddened. I've never had parents to love me or tease me about anything. They died the night of the Nine-Tailed attack, he said quietly, not mentioning that he was the son of the 4th Hokage, which he only learned yesterday while he was close to losing himself to the demon fox. Naruto. She felt so bad for him, never knowing a mother's love, a father's encouragement, or the life lessons they would have passed on. Enough about that, we're almost there. He put on a brave face, but Ino knew it was a sensitive subject for him, having lost the 3rd Hokage and his mentor Jiraiya of the Sannin, 2 of his role models. At the ramen shop, Naruto greeted Ayame, who was behind the counter serving customers. Hey Ayame, the usual please. Hey there Naruto. Coming right up, the female ramen chef responded, before taking notice of Naruto's company, giving a sly grin. And he's your girlfriend. Ino blushed at this, seeing the obvious closeness between Naruto and Ayame. Aw, come on Ayame, not you too. We just got through being teased by her father. Naruto said without thinking, then realized what he said and blushed even more. Ino following suit. Oh ho, already have daddy's blessings, eh? You sly devil, you. His big sister figure teased. Shut up. The blonde sat down, blushing up a storm, shooting his fellow blonde an apologetic look. I'm Ino Yamanaka. Nice to meet you, Ayame. Ino introduced herself, while sitting down with a full-body blush from the teasing and Naruto's lack of filter. So you're the famous Ino that I've heard so much about yesterday. Nice to meet you. What can I get you? Ayame said, deciding to stop the teasing before they passed out from overheating. A standard miso ramen, please. Naruto, meanwhile, was still following Ino's example with a full-body blush, burying his head into his hands. A few minutes later, Ayame came out with their food. Here you go. Enjoy. Thanks, Ayame. This looks great, Naruto nearly shouted in excitement. His blush completely faded. Yes, thank you very much, Ino said calmly, Ayame leaned over the counter just enough to whisper in her segregated brother's ears. Don't screw this up now, Naruto. Remember what he told her last night about the date offer, grinning as she pulled away, seeing him choke on his ramen with his blush returning with a vengeance. Ino quickly came to his rescue and rubbed his back to help with the choking, noticing the massive blush that came back to her fellow blonde's face. What did she say to make him blush like that? She thought curiously, but not jealous, able to see the brother/sister relationship they shared. You okay, Naruto? Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Ino, he said with a smile. Fighting to bring down his blush, Ino too blushed as she saw Ayame's knowing grin. Well, I'll leave you two alone to enjoy your date. Just give me a shot if you need anything. The young ramen chief teased, making her quick exit before Naruto could blow up on her. Date? She thinks this is a date? I mean, I guess it could be seen as one, but we're just friends right now. Right? Ino asked herself while doing her best impression of Hinata's blush at the moment. Dang, Hayame. She had to mention that, didn't she? Naruto internally cursed, fearing what Ino was thinking. From that point on, the two ate in awkward silence, refusing to meet each other's gaze. However, when they finished their meal and Ino kept her word and paid for the outing, it was the young heiress that decided to break the tension. I had fun, Naruto. Thank you for getting me away from the shop for a while. I had fun too, despite the teasing today. I should be thanking you for paying. Next time it'll be my treat. He smiled before offering to walk her back to the shop, to which Ino accepted. The two walked in a comfortable silence, not noticing that they both involuntarily intertwined their finger while holding hands.